A mentor of mine once told me that money changes hands when problems are solved. So why did I start this YouTube video this way? So check this out. I want to play this call from you from earlier today. This is a seller who I had spoken with earlier in the day, and she's trying to sell her property because she wants to buy another property in New York, and she's got to sell her current residence in order to make that happen. So when I got off the initial call with her, I started doing my underwriting, which I normally do. I do my first call, get an idea of what's going on with the property, I underwrite it, and then I come back and I make an offer call. And if you're not following that process, you should. But besides the point. So I come back for the second call, and that's the call I want to play for you. While I was underwriting this deal, I noticed that this property was in a really rural area. There's not a lot of buyers. There's not a lot of transactions happening, but it's a beautiful home. Now, on the first call, she told me she wanted $200,000 for the property. So once I started underwriting it, I'm like, I don't really even know where I could be on this thing. So when I call her, here's what I do. I just tell her, hey, I'm not a buyer for this property. Now, do I want to buy it and do I want to wholesale it? Yeah, of course I do. But I can't really figure out where I need to be in terms of a purchase price. I do have an idea, but I'm not necessarily sure if I can execute at the price I have in my mind. And so what I didn't want to do was put the property under contract and then not have anywhere to sell it. This lady's got to take the money from the sale of that house and buy another house. So there's things happening, and I'm not going to be the guy who goes in and ties the property up and then I can't close on it. So this is what I suggested. I just told her, hey, look, I'm a real estate investor and I know a lot of other real estate investors too. I'm not a buyer on your property, but I might know somebody who is. And if you give me 7 days, I can go and market this to other real estate investors and see if I can bring someone to the table. But I want 7 days exclusive rights to do that. And I'll do my best to close in 21 days. And I said, here's the thing. You told me that your bottom dollar was $200,000, but if we're working in this capacity where I'm helping you and I'm kind of working as an agent for you, I need to know what your real bottom dollar is. And we're going to start there. And then anything above that number, I get to keep. Now, this brings me full circle back to why I started with money changes hands when problems are solved. Because what I'm doing as a wholesaler in this scenario is I'm solving her problem. She really needs to sell this house. You can hear it when you listen to the call. You can hear it in her voice. She's like, I don't want to lose the house in New York. She really loves this other property and she really needs my help. And so what I'm telling her is, hey, I'm going to help and I'm going to bring somebody to the table. And even if I can't sell it at that 185, you're at least going to have some good feedback, because this lady's been filling out forms, calling people, talking to people. She doesn't know what to believe. Okay. And so this is how you can position yourself in a way to provide value and get more contracts. Listen to the call, ask questions down in the comments. What's up, guys? I'm Johnny Pag and I'm a full-time real estate investor. And if you are looking to get into real estate and do your first deal, I want to meet with you. First link in the description down below is going to get you to my calendar. Book a meeting. Let's hang out and see how we can work together and make some money in 2025. Hey, Rebecca.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. It's Johnny from Good Deed. How are you?
I'm good.
Awesome. Awesome. Hey, thanks for sending over the pictures. That was definitely helpful. The house is beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I love it. So I did a little bit of homework. I just want to be like super transparent, right? So when I went online, the biggest problem that I'm having with your guys' property is oh, shoot. Can you hear me now? Is that better?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Just want to be super transparent and see, maybe, how I can help. So, when I went online, Rusk is a very, very rural area. There's not a lot of stuff going on there. And so
I know
it makes it really difficult for me to get an idea of, where I would need to be in terms of a purchase price. To see if I feel like that your asking price 200 is a good number, but I don't really feel great. Like, I just don't know. And so I don't think that I'm a buyer or a player, on this property. But what I was thinking is there may be a way that I could potentially help. I know it sounds like that you're working with, or you're reaching out to other investors to get offers. One of the things that I could potentially do just to kind of help kind of sift through the noise a little bit. And I know you don't know me from the next guy, but my company, we buy between 2 and 3 houses a week. So we do a lot of deals, a lot of transactions. And we're really well connected in the investor space. And one of the things that we do sometimes, I guess only really when it makes sense, is I could potentially try to bring a buyer to the table for you, at your asking price.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've explored that option with anybody yet, but I can kind of tell you how it would work, and if it makes sense, then great. If not, then it's no harm, no foul. But I can at least lay it out for you. So
Okay, because we did get one offer. I'm just not.
so you did get an offer. Where was that offer price at?
It was 170.
170. Okay. It's tough to know because when I went online, I was, it's hard to find comps. There's just not a lot of properties in the area that have sold. I feel like the property could, go for somewhere in the low threes, and I feel like somewhere in the low twos. And so for an investor to come in, you need somebody who's local to that market. And so here's my thoughts.
Okay.
I know that you mentioned that you have like a bottom dollar number, that 200 number. I don't know if that's your real bottom dollar number or whatever, but what we can do is, and again, you can run this by your husband, and if it works, great. If not, no harm, no foul. We can find a number that works for you guys. And what I would do is I would ask for 7 days. So you might say, Johnny, my actual bottom dollar is $185,000, which is higher than that offer you got. And what I would do is I would go try to shop it around. So I've got a buyer's list across the country. There's about a 1.4 million real estate investors on that list. I am really well networked inside of the real estate community. I'm a part of like some 8-figure like networking masterminds, and I have a small YouTube channel. It's not very big, but everybody who follows me is they're all investors. And so I'm plugged in pretty well. And what I can do is I can basically take your property, I'll put together a nice, pretty marketing package, and I can send it out to all the investors that I know and see if I can get them to come in at 190 or 195. And so for you, that gets you an offer at your asking price, and they will basically pay me to bring the property to them. I'm acting as an agent, but I'm not taking a full agent fee. And usually what I do is I ask for 7 days. So that would mean that we would have an agreement that outlines the terms of the deal. So, and maybe we just do it at 200 because you mentioned that was the number that you were looking for. My job is to get that number. So I'm not coming back asking for a price reduction or a better deal, but I'll at least be able to, one, either bring a buyer to the table, or two, I can give you some feedback and say, look, Rebecca, like I put this out in front of like literally 1 million people and I have no offers, or every offer I have is at 175, or every offer I have is at 210. At least we'll have some real feedback, because it's going to be hard in your market. You're going to get people who offer you money for it, but the problem is that it's so rural. There's only going to be probably 2 or 3 investors that are even actually going to close on it. So that's just kind of my feedback. And I know that was a mouthful, but that's how we can potentially work together.
Though. I do like that. And you would have like a 7-day on it?
Yeah, what we would do is we would basically we would schedule closing for 30 days. So we would have an actual purchase contract, and that purchase contract would give us 30 days, or maybe we can do 21 days because I know time is of the essence for you guys. And then what I want is 7 days, like within 7 days, I have that window of time to go market the property exclusively. And so if a buyer comes to the table and I can move it, what they basically do is they will take over the rights of the contract. I basically give them, they become me on that contract, meaning they are bound by all of the terms that you and I agree to in that contract, the purchase price, the closing time, so on and so forth. And if after 7 days I have nobody, I mean, you can definitely take backup offers. You can absolutely do that. But if I can't bring anybody to the table, you're at least going to have good feedback. I've been doing this for a while, and you're in a rural market. There's not a lot of people who are actually going to close on it. You really need somebody to bring someone to the table, is my point.
Yeah.
So this is my thoughts.
So you, in 7 days, you would either have somebody that would basically become the
buyer.
seller, they want to be, or would they be the buyer?
They would be the buyer.
And then we would close possibly 21 days or 30 days after that. So what I could do is see if that house in New York, if they take a contingency contract.
Definitely. If you have a contract with me, that's it, because they won't know any different. If you show them my contract, they will, it's a regular purchase contract. So you can tell them I'm currently under contract with a cash buyer on my property and we're going to close in 21 days.
Okay.
And then if I can't bring a buyer, so I'm going to market, like I only get paid, just to be transparent, I only get paid if I bring a buyer to the table. So
You're motivated.
I'm motivated. Yeah. So you get it. And so if in 7 days I can't bring somebody, you at least have the 170 in your back pocket. And what I can do there, I will not be a part of that transaction, but I can at least make sure that that's a real buyer for you, so that they're actually going to close. I can at least do that if I can't bring anybody, but I think I'll be able to do that. I just need a little bit of time.
Okay. Then yeah, let's do that, because you have the resources and I don't have a clue. I really don't. I've only sold one house in my entire life. So yeah. Okay, let's do that.
Okay, excellent. So let me ask this question. So I know you want the 200 number. What I want is, your market. And so what I want from you is your actual bottom dollar number that will work for you. So that way I don't have to come back and say, Rebecca, I've spent 4 days on the phone with people and they're all telling me that the property is not worth this amount of money. So I really need your bottom dollar. And I don't want you to be like, I don't want you to give the property away, but I need to just know the number that's actually going to work for you. And if it's 200, that's fine. But I need to know what that number actually is.
My bottom number, let's do 185.
185. Okay, excellent. So then what I'll do is I will get the purchase contract over. I'm assuming it's both you and your husband on the title?
Yes.
Okay. And then, so I'll get a contract over to you in the next 15 or 20 minutes.
Okay.
I just need to know your email address and your husband's email address.